we will get cracking. So, welcome to the Pets and doTERRA Essential Oil class. As you can see here in this image, this is Ralph, my black miniature schnauzer, and also the cat Aslan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my knowledge and my passion with you about how to use these amazing gifts of the earth, these natural, pure, essential oils, and how we can use them with our pets. So out there in the wider world, there is a lot of information out there that is correct and some isn't correct. Lots of myths and lots of all these different things where some people will say you can't use essential oils with your pets. Well, what we want to do is to give you this class that gives you the base, the foundation and the safety, but also get you on the road to using your pure doTERRA essential oils. So when we use essential oils with our pets, we make sure and we let people know that we are using the doTERRA essential oils because there's nothing taken away and nothing added to them. So they are the way nature has intended. So I love this topic and I will just share about myself and bear with me. So I'm just going to change the screen. So I'm Jonathan. I am part of the dynamic duo that is myself and Catherine. We are gold leaders in doTERRA, and we've been using these essential oils with our family, but also with our pets. I have had the privilege of working in the animal kingdom pretty much all of my life. So right at the beginning years, I was brought up amongst 7 Great Danes in the family household. So my mum was a pedigree breeder. She would often show and win competitions and at crufts and win many accolades. So from a very young age, I have been brought up with dogs. And then as I got older, I then worked as farm hands. And then I went into higher education with animals, doing animal nursing, animal management, and studying animal husbandry and how to take care of animals on a larger scale. From there, I then went on to be what we call a hoof stock keeper. So on the image on the right, you will see me with what we call a black buck. And I became a rhino keeper and then went on to become an elephant keeper at West Midlands Safari Park. So I got to work with the big 5. I also got to work with lions and various different amazing animals. And then after that, my passion grew even more. And then I set up my own business working and rescuing stray dogs, and that still continues today. And then we found the amazing essential oils and doTERRA, and then it just took off from there. So that's a little bit about me and my background and how I've become to get involved with essential oils, because the amazing thing that we're going to show you is that not only how to use these essential oils, but coming to an understanding about the essential oils. So this class is designed and presented in a way that we really harness the importance of safety, but also how to use these oils. And what I want you to maybe jot down and get that sort of buzz going for you guys to start researching and looking at peer studied reviews, but there's so many out there, that your pets, whether you have horses, whether you have dogs, whether it's cats, it could be parakeets, whatever it is, the animal kingdom know how to self-medicate. They know what they want and when they need it. So this is often presented to us when we see animals when we're going out for walks, animals in the wild, when you watch them on documentaries and many things. So our domesticated pets have that built in, where they have that in their behavior. So it comes by instinct. So this is when you will see cats, dogs, horses, where they will eat different soils, different clays, different mosses, different lichens. They will eat even different grasses to help with purging, settling stomachs, all these different things. They already know how to do it. And so when they're doing that, it's making and letting people see that those animals are actually getting the natural essential oils that are already enhanced, that are in nature already. So what I'm going to go through now is go through a little bit of safety. So the information today that we're presenting is from research from a number of veterinarians. It is also very important that you do your own research. So remember I said this is for you to get your notepad and pen, to start that buzz going, and to research, that you always do what you feel comfortable within the safety guidelines. I would always implore and encourage people to always consult your veterinarian. Your veterinarian is key for your pets, because what we want to do is we want to build up that relationship with our veterinarians, because we want to share with them not only our passion, but what we want to do for an approach to aid and support our pets' natural health care. So we want to give them natural solutions, and that this is, our essential oils are not to replace veterinarians. It's actually to work with them, and it's to find and tackle everyday ailments and issues that arise with our essential oils. So if we're coming up against an abscess or gingivitis, or it could be a split nail or things like that, that we have these essential oils that can do that. But there is a certain way of using them. So some people will have heard of some stories out there where people have gone and found out and read something, or somebody's told them something, they've gone and got oil, and they've gone and horrifically gone and done 10 drops of something on an animal, and we're like, no, don't do that. There is a way and a mean and a method of how we do it. And that is, the beginning is dilute, dilute, dilute. This is the most key part of using these essential oils. And you will see with that, as we go through this class, I will repeat myself in these steps quite a lot of the time, because we feel it's important that people begin to understand that you can use them, but there is this way, and less is more. So start out with your oils more diluted when introducing the essential oils topically to your pet. And there are many carrier oils you can use. You may already have your favorite, and you may find that your pet has its favorite. And so the best one that I use and I find is the fractionated coconut oil that doTERRA has. So if you're new to essential oils of this class, you can find out more about doTERRA's fractionated coconut oil. You might want to use a really good organic pure almond oil, or you may want to use, again, a really good organic purest that you can find extra virgin olive oil. It's all what's right for you, and you might find that your pet likes one of them more. But coconut oil has lots of health benefits for the hair follicles, for the nail cuticles, for lining the gut. So just look into that, because you will find that the animals do ingest these oils and this carrier oil depending where it's put. But we'll come on to that shortly. You can always increase the concentration if the desired effect is not reached, but it is difficult to remove essential oils once it has already been absorbed. So this is where the carrier oil comes in again, because what we do is we apply a little, and then we watch, and then we see how each animal is different. So if we wanted to dilute it more and take it off the skin, we would apply more fractionated coconut, for example. But remember, each animal is an individual, and your pet may be or more less sensitive than others. This is especially seen when you have a pairing. So whether it might be a brother and sister pairing, or a parent and child pairing of the pets. So the top 10 oils for dogs: frankincense, lavender, helichrysum, Digest Zen, On Guard, Balance, myrrh, copaiba, lemon, and the Aroma Touch blend. There are some super powerful essential oils in these 10 alone. And more often than not, these 10 can deal with most, if not all things, depending. So these are phenomenal. cats. So again, myrrh, lavender, frankincense, helichrysum, digestsen, balance, copaiba, juniper berry, terra shield, and arbor vitae. Now you will see in this that cats can't have some essential oils that dogs do, because the way the cat and their body processes things, they are such a beautiful but sensitive animal, and their body, so their liver and that processes the essential oils very, very differently, and the dilution is a lot less. So this class is more aimed at the dogs and cats, but future classes will be towards other animals as well. But mainly this gives you the foundation for those two species, but also does relate to others. So essential oil safety, again, use with caution and heavily dilute, especially for pregnant dogs and cats, the old, the sick, dogs and cats that might be prone to seizures, except for frankincense, which we use full strength. And the same applies for myrrh. So for example, if we have a dog and a cat that has, as I said before, an abscess, frankincense and myrrh are the ones that we would use full strength on the inside of the gum. And there's lots of ways that we can show you how to do that in lots of guides that we have. The other one is keep out of the eyes, nose, ears, and genital areas. It goes without saying that we always avoid these sensitive areas. We dilute, again, we've put vegetable oil, but it's that favorite oil that you can use. What we always say is just make sure that you get the organic, purest that you can. So it's got nothing added, nothing taken away. So I know some people that do use vegetable oil, again, and obviously we never ever use water with the essential oils when applying them, because as you know, oil and water don't mix. So the water will not dilute it, it will not take it away. You just add more carrier oil to do that. Don't be afraid to use the oils. Your pets will let you know. They will run away. So what we do is we show you. So when we say run away, we don't literally mean run away. We mean, it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek phrase. It's to observe behavior. This is the key. So when you start and you begin to get confident with your essential oils, keep your notebook and your pen handy so that you can monitor and record behavior, because you will begin to start to see behaviors that you've never seen before if you're going to use them for the first time. And sometimes we can be guilty as owners of our pets, or custodians of our pets, that we ourselves are more sensitive to, oh, was that behavior? Oh, that was no negative, or that was a positive. What you have to do is you have to remain and take a step back and go, right, I'm going to monitor this behavior and see what happens, because more often than not, they might back off a little bit, they might come back a bit, back off, and then the wow moment happens when introducing these oils, and I'll go on to that in a minute. They may be sensitive. So if listless, eyes watering, behavioral changes, complete lethargic, things to look out for. So introducing the essential oils. So it's really important that you understand, and we want you to think about yourselves. So when you have gone for your wellness pampering days, or you might be into reflexology, you might be into Reiki, you might be into yoga. When you go to those, think about the environment that you're going into, because you will go there, the music will be on, the lights may be dull, they'll be softly spoken. It's getting you in that moment to really relax. Exactly the same applies for our pets. So you need to create a calm, relaxing environment that they feel safe so that you will give your pet the best result. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to be having your phone on and texting people whilst you're introducing your pet. You don't want to have the radio on. You want to have the TV off. Everything is there so that it's just you and your pet's time. And so what we do as well when we introduce the oils to our pet, we don't take the lid off and thrust it towards them and invite them that way, because that's quite intrusive to their space. What we do is we invite that time, we invite that opportunity for them to come forward. So more often than not, when I meet new clients with animals and pets and they've got ailments, I will often have the bottle and I will often have it in my hand and I'll clasp it in my hand and I will present it that way. And then when they feel comfortable, or I might just put a drop on my wrist and really rub it in, not even a drop sometimes. So I never take the lid off and I never present it that way, because as you will see shortly is how powerful their sense of smell is compared to ours. So positive reactions when introducing the essential oils. So I said, get your notepad and your pen, your notepad and pen. So the positive reactions, what you're looking for, you are looking for changes in breathing. You're looking for increased tail wagging. You're looking for licking of the legs and grooming, sticking the tongue out and lip and mouth smacking. This is predominantly, you can do a bit of a taste and test sort of thing. So with my dog Ralph, if I say, Ralph, do you want a treat? He'll do a happy dance, his legs will go, he'll start licking the air out of excitement, he's releasing his emotions. It's the same thing when you start stroking your pet, especially your cats and your dogs. When you do it, you'll notice that their head goes up, ears go back, and that they start yawning or they start licking lots. That is a release of emotions. So, and it's also a way of the dogs and cats and other animals catching the aroma molecules that are in the air from the essential oils. So head resting between paws can show and indicate emotions being released. Lowering the head, so lying down, so they'll often lie forward, they'll lie their head down and they might look up to you with the whites of their eyes and they're close by. Again, reactions that people could mistake as negative. So some people might go, oh, well, he's lying down and he's giving me the whites of the eyes look and he's just not showing, or she's just not showing that interest. That can be mistaken. So some people will go, people expect the dog or the cat or the other animals to be right up close and pushing you. Doesn't always present it that way to begin with. So barking and lunging towards the oil. Now, if you are somebody that has rescue animals, this is definitely more prevalent in those scenarios. So, or if you have a high-wired working dog, a gun dog, this can present that way. So especially with border collies that are highly tuned with their mental ability. This action, so barking, lunging towards the oil, can indicate an emotional release, and your dog will become calmer afterwards. So what I say to people is when that happens, don't engage, just look to the side, allow them to bark, allow them to communicate, and they'll back right off and then they'll come forward again. Again, in anxiety-led behavior cases, this can indicate a release of emotions and then followed by a calming manner, as I said, about them coming forward. But also, if you do have a rescue dog, what you may not realize is their ability to store memory through smell. So if there's a particular smell that they had and that was a negative response that they had, they could give you that thing. So you look out for these things and they will calm and it will change. You will know your pet the best. You will know what their positive reactions are and what they are as they usually when oils are reoffered. That's when we see changes in behavior. Again, like I mentioned about yawning, heavy eyes. So look out for those behaviors. Behaviors change. Negative reactions. This is quite simple. Once you are really sort of comfortable and you've really observed your pet, as I said before, you will know them the best. But negative reactions, look for lack of interest, completely distracted, leave a door open. So give them the freedom to choose, give them that freedom to walk in, to walk out. You might have a dog that or a cat that will poke their head around the corner, give some communication, walk back in, but then come back in. But lack of interest will be, nope, I'm going out the room. I'm going to go and sit under my favorite spot under the table. I'm going to completely go and bark from another room and stay there, and just completely ignore you. These are signs of complete lack of interest. So that's how we can judge with our pets. So the science of smell. I said to you about the lid being off. This is why we don't do this, and why a little goes a long way. So I want you to look at the image, and you can see this picture of a medium to large size breed. I would say it's a German Shepherd in this image. Look at the size of that olfactory bulb and compare it to ours, which is tiny. So dogs' sense of smell has a huge whopping 300 million sensory receptors, and a cat has a whopping 2 million sensory receptors that lead to the olfactory nerve. Whereas us humans, we only have 6 million sensory receptors. We rely more on taste than we do sense of smell. So this is so important for you to know, as our pets can distinguish and remember a huge, and I mean a huge variety of scents, that they can smell things that we cannot. So this is why you see amazing abilities in gun breeds, sniffing out, used as sniffer dogs, things that it's amazing when you watch these documentaries of how they train them, how they remember these sense of smells, how they hone in on them. And it's because of that olfactory bulb, but also how they use their memory with smell. So less is totally more. So do remember that. Excuse me, I just have to need a drink. So application with dogs. Aromatic. This is one of the best ways, and it's one of the questions that I get asked most. Jonathan, I've got feeling a bit run down and I need a bit of support. So can I diffuse on guard around my pets? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can put your diffuser on your desk. You can put it on the side by your sofa whilst you're watching a movie and diffuse what you need for you. The only thing I would say, and this is one of the safety tips, is make sure the door is open. So if your pet's with you, keep the door wedged open with a door wedge, with a weight, because what that allows the dog, again, or cat or other animals, they have the freedom to choose. They have the freedom to come in and self-medicate. They have the freedom to move away because they don't like what you've got going on, the smell that you've got going on. So we always, when using essential oils around our pets with a diffuser, the door remains open, and they can go as and when. So diffusing can be very effective and a safe method of using the essential oils around your pets, especially with respiratory concerns, and especially when it comes to emotional support, which is where lots of people some people forget that our pets need emotional support. But it is the best way of getting the molecules to enter that limbic system, to the olfactory nerve and the bulb. Because what happens is, I haven't got one to hand, but you might be able to see one behind me with the whale diffuser or the other diffuser. When we use these essential oils, so for example, when we come to the winter months and there's lots of fireworks going off, we can use Balance, we can use frankincense, we can use Serenity and lavender to use as a calming blend in the diffuser. So we can put 4 to 5 drops of each in the diffuser and diffuse it. But what we do is we make sure those doors are open to allow for our dog or cat to have that release in emotions, to have that calming sensation. So we can also use what we call rag comforters. So here in the image, you can see this sort of little teddy that I use with Ralph. It has a zip on it, and it has just another rag inside that I can put the essential oils on. I can zip it up so that if I'm having to pop out or he needs a bit of support, I can put that in his favorite locations. So for example, our animals love finding the hot pipes, especially if it's on the landing. We can put it on the landing. We can put it behind the sofa where our cats like to sort of go and sleep. And they have the choice. They can go and sit by it, and they can have that aromatical usage and release. They can pick it up, they can play with it, they can move it. So we use rag diffusion as well. So animal behaviorists use essential oils. This is something that I've had great success with in what we call, it's almost like target training, but reinforcement training. So I'll give you a quick little story. I was called by a council local to me, and we had a family that were husband and wife and two, they're liver and white, Springer Spaniels. And unfortunately, they were a pairing, and one of them passed away. One of the Spaniels passed away. So the other was pining, and the couple were bakers, and they would have to get up super, super early in the morning. I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, go and prep their bakery, and then they would come home at 2. And what they were finding was that the neighbor that was adjoined to the house, so a semi-detached house, was starting to complain to them and to the council because this dog was unsettled, it was lonely, it was pining for its partner, and the dog was incessantly howling and barking due to being alone and just in such discomfort of emotions. So the local authority that we'd already worked with reached out to us and said, can you do anything, because we're having to put up recording equipment and we don't want these people to receive a noise nuisance protocol, fines and so forth. So they had set up recording equipment in the other property against the wall. So what we did is, this is where your pets know you better than you know yourselves. When you wake up in the morning, you have habitual habits. So some people, the first thing they do is they get up, they put their dressing gown on, they go to the toilet. Some people might splash their face. Some people will go to the toilet, then they'll go downstairs, then they'll put the kettle on, they'll put their toast in the toaster. They'll do all these different things, and then people then put their hairdryer on. When you're going to work or you're starting your day, you have these habitual habits. And what you find is your pets get closer and closer and closer to you. They get closer to the door. They start running around you. They know what you're doing. Ralph knows when we're about to go out the door every single time, and he gets closer and closer and closer to the door. And it's the same with our pets. So what we do is we incorporate time, as I said, with that rag diffuser, with the essential oils, that we absolutely have a nominated time before we go out. We have it scheduled where we use the essential oils, where we have that moment of just pure and utter love with our pets using the essential oils. So, for example, with these dogs, we used lavender, we used serenity, and we used frankincense. We used it with rag diffusers. So we put on 2 favorite places for the dog, and we applied the oil within a 60 ml spray bottle and topped it up with fractionated coconut. So that 20 minutes before the owners would leave, they would spray it in their hand, rub it together, and then they would start almost giving their pet almost like a massage, some stroking, and just talking to them. And so what was happening was, this was reinforcement training at its best, because it assured the pet every time they went out that the pet would feel that emotional release, and they would the pet would then tie it in with that scheduled timing of them. Every time I get a bit of affection and they go out, I feel okay. But what's happening is, it's the amazing power of the essential oils doing what they do by absolutely taking care of the emotions, changing the nerve receptors from having high anxiety to bringing it down, to interrupting those receptors to bring the emotions down. And the same can be done with lots of our animals. And so that is something that we have done and have great success with. Another application with our dogs is topical. So directly to the area of concern, or along the spine, the bottom of the back, the paws, between the toe pads. But take care, because paws are very, very sensitive, and more often than not, you don't need to, but it is there and it can be done. Application for dogs topically. So different sizes and breeds basically have different sensitivities. Always dilute the first time, and we always check for irritation, and we increase the dilution as and when we need to. So size of dog, so puppy 3 to 6 months, we use 1 tablespoon, so that's 14 mils of our chosen coconut, almond oil, or vegetable oil, whatever you want to use. 14 mils. So think of that as a tablespoon to 1 drop, just 1 drop of essential oil. So some people, when they first do it, they go, "Oh my gosh, this is a lot of topical fractionated coconut." But it's okay, it's brilliant, it absorbs, it has lots of health benefits for the dog's coat. Also from 6 months to adulthood, it's 1 teaspoon, so 2.5 mils of our chosen carrier oil to 1 to 2 drops of essential oil. So you can see how much of the carrier oil that we actually use to how little of the essential oil, and more often than not, 1 drop is enough. So again, we can use a different way for our dogs, and that's internal. So high quality pure essential oils like doTERRA's that may be ingested. So essential oils can be placed in veggie capsules, or they can be directly into treats. The treats, that comes to when you're using cooled and raw treats. When I say raw, I don't mean raw meats. I mean, like, you can make amazing raw dog biscuits that are using oats and different things. You can, so if you have a pet that has needs arthritical support, you can use the essential oils amongst that, mix it up and create amazing treats. But another option can be used, the ease of administering, is to add a drop of the essential oil to the pet's drinking water. This is especially when we've used lemon to support and aid the urinary tract. So lemon essential oil is amazing at supporting the urinary tract for lots of nasty things that go on and need pulling out. So that's where we can use, and it also keeps the water fresh. So it's super, super cool how we do that. But we find that topical and aromatical use are just as effective, if not more so in the cases, than oral. So I would always implore and tell people that the foundation of using these is diffusion. Using that diffuser is some of the best way, because you think how powerful the nose is, how much they breathe in and they breathe out. They can choose as and when they need to. So application for cats. So remember, cats are very, very highly sensitive. So this is, again, I'll come into different ways. So aromatical, diffuse a couple of drops in the water diffuser. Again, we always ensure that doors are left open and they are wedged open. We never want that opportunity for a door to close on an animal that is in a room with a diffuser going. They have to be given the freedom to come and go, self-medicate, and have that choice. So again, aromatically, fantastic way. Making litter box powder. This is great. So you can use a cup of baking powder to 3 to 4 drops of oil, so lavender essential oil. Stir it well. You can leave that overnight, and then you can sprinkle onto your cat litter. So it's a great fun way of using the essential oils also. But you can diffuse every day. Again, as I said before, and I can't say it and stress it enough, don't shut the door. So your cat can move as freely as possible. So topically, best method for application is petting along the spine or reflex points or tips of the ears. Cats will ingest the oils when grooming. They are super, super nimble. They can reach places that other animals can't. So just remember that they will ingest it. And so this is another reason why we use coconut oil. And sometimes we even use full fat coconut oil because, again, I would ask you to do your research. Coconut oil has so many benefits and for the health. Just make sure that you buy the glass jarred version and that it's the purest that you can get, because it's for cats and dogs. It's great for lining the stomach. It assists with purging. It's great for the hair follicles, the nail follicles. It has so many benefits that lots of people don't realize. So internal, we do not recommend actually giving cats essential oils orally. The only exception is frankincense and myrrh. So topically and aromatically are the best. So we don't advocate putting drops into cats or putting them in soft gels. It's literally, as they're grooming, it's fine, but we don't apply them internally like you can with other animals. So application for topically for cats, again, always dilute, check for irritation, and you can increase dilution as needed. So kittens, so 3 to 6 months. Now look at how much you dilute the essential oils for kittens for 3 to 6 months. 2 tablespoons, 28 mils, and to 1 drop of essential oil. So some people will look at that and go, oh my gosh, my cat's going to be like a greasy bald cat. Don't worry, because they will groom themselves. The fractionated, well, the coconut will do its health benefits as well. But it just goes to show you some of the things that you may have heard over the years about essential oils. Well, with doTERRAs, because they're so pure, they have the power and the ability to do what they need to do, but how much we dilute them. So age 6 months to adulthood, 1 tablespoon. So for an adult cat, so remember, for dogs that were 3 to 6 months, we were using 1 tablespoon for that size, but for an adult cat, we use 1 tablespoon of our chosen carrier oil to 1 drop of essential oil. So this is how little we use with cats. And again, you can start off with half a drop. You go to essential oil supplies, you can buy an oil dropper. So you can use half a drop to begin with. So that is how we apply them topically for our cats. So essential oils to avoid topically and internally. So again, for dogs, it is different. So, and I'll come to that in a minute, but cats, there are a lot more essential oils that we do not use with cats. So for dogs, birch, wintergreen, and melaleuca, which is also known as tea tree, and less specific instructions may have been given by a veterinarian. So melaleuca, I would ask you to research the use of doTERRA's melaleuca with Dr. Janet Rourke. Now, Dr. Janet Rourke, who's one of the veterinarians at doTERRA, she uses melaleuca in very precise acute ailments, and again, that advice is only sought through the veterinarians, but it can be used in short, sharp bursts. So she likens it to like if, for example, those out there that have had to use antibiotics or hard things, that's how it is looked at in the animal world, as melaleuca is looked at and used in that way. So we don't use anything that has xylitol in it. So obviously On Guard toothpaste has xylitol in it. And look at the caveat with this: use caution with hot oils such as clove, oregano, cassia, cinnamon, rosemary, thyme, and any blends with the above such as On Guard. So look at what it says: use caution with hot oils. It doesn't say don't use, because they do have their purpose, they do have their use, but you have to use caution, and it's best to avoid those at the very, very beginning. Once you start your research, once you start having all your guides through the veterinarians, then there are uses for them, but we avoid them to begin with. Topically and internally with cats, these are ones that we don't use. So melaleuca, also known as tea tree, thyme, wintergreen, fennel, rosemary, spearmint, cloves, cypress, cinnamon, basil, birch and dill, oregano, peppermint, Siberian fir, anything that has xylitol in it, citrus oils, bergamot, grapefruit, and all the citrus oils, so lemon, lime, orange, tangerine. You can see how sensitive cats are. So these are what we stay clear of with our cats. So search other resources. Now, I'll come on to in a second. So I've mentioned Dr. Janet Rourke. You can go on Facebook and find the Essential Oil Vet. It has lots and lots of information on there. And that's part of her business is the Hill Country Mobile Vet. And then we've got wiedemannreep.com. And then this is something that I find super, super exciting about doTERRA and the lengths that doTERRA goes to in continually giving us amazing research, support, and all the things that come with that, is that we are the only essential oil company that we have a dedicated veterinary advisory board made up of quite a number of veterinarians that have their practices, and they incorporate using these doTERRA essential oils with their continued and existing clients. And so you can go on YouTube, you can type in doTERRA Veterinary Advisory Board. The only thing I would say is the sound on that recording isn't the best, so you will need to turn it up, but it's a 30-minute video. It's a fantastic insight. And so if anybody ever asks you, oh, you use essential oils with your pets, can you do that? Well, yes, you can. And we have the research, we have the veterinarians that are doing it day in, day out. And we have that with doTERRA. I love that. It gives us such empowerment to know that we can use these essential oils and let nature do what it does with our pets. So essential oil supplies, brilliant place to go. Viv is amazing. You can reach out to Viv via email and she can point you in the right direction, but it's very, very straightforward on there. You can find all the amazing animal books, leaflets, handouts, the 60ml bottles, things like getting rollables and things like that. It's a great place. Then we've got pubmed.com. So if you wanted to look up the studies of On Guard and how that is used, their peer-reviewed studies, they looked into what it can do, then do look that up on PubMed. The only thing I would say to you is don't type in the name where it says, for example, you put in lavender. Look on the lavender bottle and you'll have the Latin name. When you're on PubMed, use the Latin name and it will come up. But be warned, you can lose yourself on PubMed because it's like over lots and lots and lots and lots of studies on those specific things. So make time for that. Then we've got aromaticscience.com, another amazing resource. Books that I use, Essential Oils for Animals by Nyana Morag. Fantastic book. You can find that on Amazon. Spoil Your Pet by Dr. Frezzo and Jan Jeremies, a brilliant, and Dr. Maya K. Frezzo is one of the other essential oil vets on the doTERRA Veterinary Advisory Board. That book is straightforward to use, really, really simple. So do look out for that one. And then Spoil All Naturally Facebook, that's me and Catherine. And so I thought I'd leave you with some dog oil recipes. So this is something that I use with my clients. So I use Anxious Blend. So I've mentioned it before, especially with those Springers or the Springer Spaniel, lavender, frankincense, and serenity. We've got those that are having itchy issues, breath, bugs, cuts, especially if you have a working dog or you have a cat that's been in sort of cat fights, digestive blends, lumps, muscles, respiratory, seasonal threats. Again, we put these in 60ml bottles. These recipes are for when you have a 60ml spray bottle. You put the amount of drops that it says here, and then you can then top it all the way to the top with fractionated coconut oil or your favorite organic almond oil. That way you don't have to keep getting your bottle and you don't have to keep doing this and get your tablespoon of the oil. you have it ready, just store it in a cool, dry place and just label it. So you might put Cat's Blend for bugs. So, and it's already mixed, just give it a good shake, spray it into the hand, and off you go. So those of you that are new to doTERRA, the best way to get your oils, I would ask you all to reach out to those that are your upline or those that have invited you onto the class, and we're going to show you the best way. Then they can show you the best way to get your essential oils if you haven't already and you're just beginning. So how you can order, you can create a new LRP template, which is a loyalty reward program. This is something that I love and adore that doTERRA does. So those of you that are familiar with the high street offers that they are out there. So for example, look at your loyalty reward points program with doTERRA and compare it to this. So Tesco Club Card, when you spend £100, you get £1 back for every £100 you spend in Tesco Club Card points. So that's only a 1% reward, not a lot. Nectar, when you spend, say, Sainsbury's, when you spend £100, you get 50p reward, so 0.5%. Again, not very great. But if you, the best one on the streets is obviously Boots, the Advantage card. So if you spend £100, you get a £4 return, a 4% reward. So when you compare this with doTERRA, for example, if you were to spend £100 with doTERRA, you get a 30%, up to a 30% reward. So that is an amazing return that you get under the loyalty rewards program. So if you haven't, reach out to those that have invited you on, those that are that are showing you how to get the most out of your essential oils, because not only that, with the loyalty rewards program, you also get free product as well. So you get free essential oils and whatever's on at the time. So again, looking at that 30% reward approximately rounds up to £30 to spend on your account. So doTERRA for us is about empowering people, and it's about empowering on both sides of the bottle, but it's also about empowering the use and the knowledge of how we can do this for our pets. So this is something I love to empower people. You now have this class that you can use, that you can refer back to. Do reach out, do ask questions. And always, no question is a bad question, because this is how we learn. And keep your notebook handy, record those behaviors that you see with your pets. And I'd love to hear your stories, but do reach out. And I wish you all a great rest of your week, but also I wish you a great time in research and finding these amazing gifts that we have with these essential oils of how we empower our pets. So it's been great to chat with you all, and I will now end this class and see you all soon.